Mitch Marner asked if he wants to be a Maple Leaf next year. Maybe I'm reading too much into this already. I've always loved my time here, loved being here. And then he goes on to add, it's so fresh. It's tough to anything right now, future-wise. I was hoping to be playing hockey right now. I'll sit down with my wife and decide in the coming weeks. How do you look and how do you view that, Huts? Ooh.
He doesn't love it, like loved, plural, like past tense. He loved it here. I don't know. I'm not a grammar.
I don't know if that's plural. It's not plural.
Yeah, past tense. There you go. Hey, give me a second, buddy. I stop pucks for a living. Okay, man, I'm not that sharp.
I can tell.
That being said, though, like, I don't know. It feels like the writing's on the wall in this one. It just seems like, I know you can't just recreate Mitch Marner, but to give up that kind of money and that kind of cap space to a guy that continually is non-existent in the playoffs, and maybe he finds a better fit somewhere, or maybe this is a miss, but it feels like something has to change. He seems like the main piece. I'm kind of excited to hear if Matthews, what exactly is going on behind the scenes.
Dude, he's not going to say anything. I'm telling you right now.
You'd think they would, just to like try to protect the situation or something. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything to gain or be rewarded from, like, exposing behind the curtain what's been going on. But for Marner, I just feel like at this point, man, like, it's not working. It's not here. And that money can be spent somewhere else. And I don't think you can recreate Mitch Marner, because I think he's a hell of a player. And I try to defend him. I have for a long time. I think he's a really good player. He's unbelievable. But just the way that the playoffs crank up, man, the game changes. It's not the same game as a regular season. It's a different animal. And he's just the guy that his game doesn't translate well to it, Nicky.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I was sort of chuckling too, seeing some of the quotes from Craig Berube. I think he was asked, "You want to see Mitch back?" And he's like, "Yes." And then Tavares, 100%. Like, he's not going to say anything. Like, why would you say anything? But no. I think, to your point on Marner, the writing's on the wall. It has been for a long period of time. This is their first opportunity, they being the executives in the Brain Trust, to reimagine this roster and maybe supply the roster a bit more with Craig Berube type players. And I think they're going to do that. I think both parties understand, and surprise, surprise, even in the last 48 hours since they were eliminated on Sunday night, stories have come out about Mitch Marner and how he could test free agency and how maybe he's looking for a sweet change. And even last week on Thursday, following that dreadful Game 5, it's coincidental or not, story comes out that he's looking at free agency. Like, that's not a coincidence to me. I think this has been brewing for a long period of time. And honestly, it's disappointing, because you think homegrown talent, you think, could this guy be like a Leaf for life or a Leaf for life? And unfortunately, didn't work out that way. And sometimes in life, you got to make tough decisions and move on, turn the page. And that's exactly what I expect the Maple Leafs to do when it comes to Mitch Marner.
Yeah, and I don't blame him either, too, right? I know the pressure and the day-to-day life is a lot, but you can make a lot of money playing in a tax-friendly state. Going somewhere where you can actually live a normal life. There's actual value there. Yeah. I don't know how much he values that, but like, that is important for a lot of players, right? Now that he's got a kid, life changes, right? You're going to be in Toronto. It's a big hub to get around, to do stuff, where if you go playing a little bit of an off market, you have a little bit more of a normal life. You're making a ton of money still. There's a lot of benefit to it. But at the end of the day, like, creating a legacy in Toronto and trying to win a Stanley Cup and trying to be better is like number one, because that is something that would last forever. And again, he's always going to be a Toronto legend, in my opinion. I think he's one of the best players we've seen in numerous years. But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, there has to be tough decisions made, because this is a results-driven business, and they just don't get the results, and he hasn't been good enough when it matters.
And I think it's important to state, too, that the media asked him, I guess, point blank, if he wants to return, and he didn't say yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Apparently, he went to say he hasn't processed anything yet. Like, anybody who wants to return, they'd be like, yeah. Like, John Tavares was asked after the game the other night, "Do you want to come back?" He said yes. Like, the writing's on the wall. It's definitive. It's clear. I think this has been our expectation all season long. I don't really care about, the logistics of everything. Who's pissed, who what happened to lead to this situation. I think both parties comprehend it is best to move on. And you make all your analogies about having former girlfriends. I'll leave that to you, but it just, it's goodbye. Yeah. See you later.
I agree with you. I guess I just wonder, like, it seems so obvious where teams that I knew I was leaving. I remember in St. Louis after my second year, and I had a really good season, I knew I was leaving free agency. Like, I said, yeah, I want to come back. Like, I knew, like, we had already, like, my agent and I were like, hey, they're only offering this. I think my offer from St. Louis to stay was like 2 years, $2 million. That was the year I
I'll
ended
take
up
it.
I
Thanks,
ended up
Sam.
getting, yeah, I ended up getting 3 years, closer to 3 in Buffalo, right? But I knew the deal was done. And when I was asked at media, I like lied right through my teeth because I was like, you're just trying to present well too, right? Like there's the business side of it, but there's also like the self-preservation. And I guess your point hits home with me, him being like, he didn't just say yes right away, where John Tavares might have no chance of staying in Toronto. But what is he going to say? He's not going to be like, I don't want to be a Leaf anymore. You're going to get absolutely butchered. Like, just, you got to deal with it. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because it definitely seems like he's gone, Nick.
Yeah, I really couldn't care. From that aspect, I'm not being a dick. Like, I just think it's time to move on. I think it's a tough hole to cover. Like, I don't know if you're going to find something short term that's going to equal Mitch Marner in the regular season. Like, where's the offense going to come from? Who's going to play with Matthews? Those are some major league questions moving forward. But ultimately, it's a guy. And again, people have their opinions on how we cover Mitch Marner, but it gets to the playoffs, he does nothing. So if you want to win the regular season, and if you're somebody who really puts aspirations in winning a President's Trophy, then I apologize. But if you're somebody who cares about winning a Stanley Cup, I think ultimately just this roster, this makeup, it's not a good fit for Mitch Marner. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Roseau. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.